What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Thank you for downloading, viewing the RJ Young Show podcast. I am joined, as I am each Monday, by my best friend Ron. Ron, tell the people how you're doing.
I've never been better. This is the greatest Monday of all time. Since I've seen you, absolutely nothing has occurred in the real world, the sports world. I am perfect. How are you?
I mean, I could be better. I got a little work done on another project. I woke up a little bit late, but, we're going to finish strong. I got the Kansas State OU preview up with a little bit of time to spare, so that was nice. I got the second workout in, and I changed into my Batman tank top, so I'm all right. And I want to talk about Tate Martell, Miami, Ohio State, SEC. They kick off this week. The Big 12, they kick off this week. It's not a great start for Texas Tech on this Monday, though, because Sir Roderick Thompson got booked in jail. He's their star tailback. They already suck. They nearly lost and then edged out Houston Baptist 35-33 in their opener, and now they got Texas in the Big 12 opener, so that ought to be interesting. I think Texas is like a 17-point favorite on the road. But we are presented by Manscaped, and if you haven't already decided that you want to get the Lawnmower 3.0, I advise you to do it. I got one in the mail last week, tried it out, and now, we're a lot smoother, we're a lot faster, we get around better, and nobody actually wants to smell any of that. Support the RJ Young Show podcast by going to manscaped.com, using the code RJ Show to purchase almost anything 20% off, and you get free shipping. But the Lawnmower 3.0 is awesome because it is the greatest ball hair trimmer of all time. And it's got a ceramic blade, which is part of the advanced skin-safe technology that was actually pioneered by Manscaped. You can use it in the shower, and I did. Battery lasts up to 90 minutes, and it does. And it's got an LED light, which can be useful, especially when you're getting into the dark places where, you really don't want to cut yourself, which I also have to just add in there. I did not cut myself. As a person that grew up with clippers and razors, cutting yourself part of life. Didn't do that with the Lawnmower 3.0. Again, support the RJ Young Show. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code RJ Show at checkout. 20% off your purchase. Free shipping. Manscaped.com. RJ Show. 20% off with free shipping. Use the code. All right. So, top headline today, I think, is actually Jackson State and Deion Sanders. It was not going to be the top story today or the top topic today until I saw how Deion Sanders entered into Jackson State for his acceptance and opening press conference, which is to say that they had not one, but two police cruisers and not one, but two motorcycle cops bring him in a Cadillac Escalade, and then he got out and delivered a sermon. I think this is a great start for the future head coach, Florida State University. How about you, Ron?
Oh no, if I'm prime time, you gotta show the world that you still got it. So get the drum majors out there, put people in the stands, make it a big event. I didn't see the whole thing. Did he do the dance?
No.
Did he do the dance?
No, he acted his age this one time.
Well, that's okay. I'm not disappointed, but I sure would have loved to see it.
Here's the thing, though. I am betting against Deion Sanders at Jackson State in the way that I might bet against Jimbo Fisher at Florida State. Let me unpack this. Jimbo Fisher won a national championship at Florida State. To do it, though, he had to wreck Florida State football. And it remains wrecked some 6 years after the fact of them winning that national championship and him taking the $75 million in 10 years to go to Texas A&M, which, again, right now is a dumpster fire with opt-outs coming out the wazoo for ampersand U. But they got their national championship, and they got their Heisman winner in Jameis Winston. Jackson State has the same opportunity with Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders ruined people at Prime Prep, showed up to his kid's high school, and said, I'm the offensive coordinator now because my kid is playing quarterback. Shedeur Sanders has committed to Florida Atlantic, which was, at one point run by Willie Taggart of Florida State, who is now head coach at Florida Atlantic. I can't wait to see how Shedeur Sanders flips his commitment to Jackson State to go play with his dad. And we'll see who he decides to hire as defense coordinator and what he's going to fill out with the staff. But the man said that he felt called to go to Jackson State. I don't know that a whole lot of people feel called to go anywhere near Mississippi. So that's number one. I don't know how you feel called to go to Jackson State when you're on NFL Network talking football all the time. And by the way, the man announced this on his podcast, which is the most 21st century thing of all time, to announce where you're going on your podcast.
It's what we do nowadays.
After the news broke last week, he waited to announce on his podcast on Sunday night, and they had a press conference today. Now, I need to also add in here, it ain't like Jackson State is UAB. It ain't like Jackson State is Coastal Carolina. The heritage of Jackson State runs deep. 1968, they had 11 players drafted into the NFL. 11 off of one damn football team. And they are not used to losing at Jackson State. Now, if they were to run the table, he's going to take another job because that's how that works. You take the job at Florida State because I don't think that Mike Norvell's going to last much longer if he keeps doing what he's doing. Ron, do you know he contracted the COVID over the weekend?
I heard those things. That at this point, the Florida State's just a big old comedy of errors.
So when Mike Norvell gets the boot and they go get prime time, remember, we told you first right here. I don't know what the roster's going to look like. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat Alcorn State. I do know that they're probably going to be on national television because Prime is walking the sideline. All right? And another thing that I thought was really interesting over the weekend that happened is Tate Martell decided to opt out. Now, in Tate Martell choosing to opt out, we continue the saga of Tate Martell, for which I brought this to you, Ron, last night.
I was about to say, can you tell me, regale me again the story of Tate Martell?
So, I first come across Tate Martell at Bishop Gorman High School, which is also the high school where DeMarco Murray went to school. Okay, it's in Vegas. It's well-to-do. Tate Martell was the number one dual-threat quarterback in the country in that 2017 class. Tate Martell was a 5-star quarterback. He decided that he was going to commit to Texas A&M for God knows what reason, when Urban Meyer reached down from on high in Columbus and tapped him. And that was for the best because Tate Martell is a basketball on grass quarterback. Okay, that's who he is. He's Alex Smith without the accuracy. So when he was tapped to be the dude, everybody thought that that's what it was going to be. But damn, then Tom Herman takes a job at Houston, right? And you got to go from one coordinator to another, and you get this dude named Ryan Day who's going to actually prioritize vertical passing. And guess what Tate Martell does not do well?
I imagine if you say that he's Alex Smith without the accuracy, probably didn't do too well.
Yeah. And at the time that he thought he was going to be the heir apparent, not unlike Austin Kendall thought he was going to be the heir apparent last year, Justin Fields announced he's going into the transfer portal from Georgia because he ain't go to Georgia to be no up back on no fake punts in the SEC championship game. That ain't what he was there to do. So Ryan Day says, come on down. To which the question immediately gets asked of one Tate Martell, are you going to transfer? To which, I kid you not, Tate Martell says that January, no, I'm not going anywhere. Everybody knows that this offense is really difficult to pick up. You're not going to be able to pick it up in one spring. Ask Dwayne how that went. A couple months later, you know what happens?
Please tell me.
Tate Martell goes into the transfer portal. Comes out at who? Miami. Who? Miami. And, Miami is all kinds of fired up because they had N'Kosa Perry calling plays back there, and don't nobody want N'Kosa Perry calling plays back there. And the thought is Tate Martell comes in. He wins the job away from one N'Kosa Perry, and the U is back to 2002. But in another twist of fate, damn it, not only does Tate Martell not win the job, they moved his white boy to wide receiver, slot wide receiver. Said, get your Welsh brother on.
They turned him into Wayne Corbett?
You like that joke because that joke goes way back. I don't think that the people listening know who Wayne Corbett is. Do you?
They don't know who the flashlight is? Damn.
Okay, so
No, I'm an old man. I'll copy that.
We need an aside. You need to let the people know who Wayne Corbett is.
Wayne Corbett was a all-star receiver for the Jets. Or say, oh, bro. I won't say he's the original white boy who's wild in the slot. but he's the first one I remember.
Man, who was the first white boy who was wild in the slot? Tim Beck?
Oh, I'm sure there's even older heads who'd be like, well, back in the 70s on the Raiders, there.
Fred McBlitnikoff was the greatest of all time. Nah, man. Nah, we good. Tate Martell was supposed to be Julian Edelman down there in Miami. Tate Martell turned out to be not Julian Edelman in the slot because, shocker, my man was a quarterback. And he was a very specific kind of quarterback. He was a power spread to the right. We gonna run quarterback power this way. We gonna play blackjack. We gonna run Texas spread without Vince Young actually throwing the passes, right? That's what we gonna do. We gonna run modified wing T principles out of a shotgun set. That's who Tate Martell was. That ain't the kind of offense that Dan Enos wanted to run. Dan Enos gets fired. They bring in Rhett Lashley. You know what Rhett Lashley wants to do with a football? He want to run it, and he want to chuck it deep. He want to run it, and then he want to chuck it deep again. You know why? Because Rhett Lashley came out the Gus Malzahn tree. You know what Gus Malzahn does? Run it and chuck it deep. There are two routes in a Gus Malzahn offense. Okay? Deep and deeper. That is what this man wants to do. That's why De'Aaron King is back there, because it turns out De'Aaron King is 3 times the quarterback that Tate Martell was. Same De'Aaron King that Gary Patterson recruited to play slot and punt return at Texas Christian as the world turns, as you see. So Tate Martell chooses to opt out this year, not because of the COVID, but because my man was suspended for 1 game against the University of Alabama, Birmingham. So in being suspended for that 1 game against the University of Alabama, Birmingham, who ain't even had no football program 2 years ago, you decide you're going to opt out.
I didn't come here to play no suspension. You guys look like you didn't come to play football either.
Look. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. Where in the world does Tate Martell go from here? Because he's already said, I'm not transferring from Miami once. I don't think he's going to say it again. And with, the transfer portal getting ready to explode come January, there's going to be lots of 5-star quarterbacks that were once 5-star quarterbacks into the transfer portal. You know who else was a 5-star quarterback in the transfer portal? Kyle friggin' Allen. He wasn't very good, though, was he? He wasn't very good. I wonder how many dudes have played for 3 different schools as quarterbacks or something of the sort. And the most recent one I can actually think of is Blake Barnett. You remember Blake Barnett?
I don't. Didn't Baker also play for 3 different schools?
2. 2. Tech and OU. Yeah. Now, Blake Sims went from Alabama to Arizona State to South Florida. And then I had to remember that Jacob Coker played for 2 different national champion caliber football teams, won titles in 2 different conferences, and then, kind of lucked into leading one of the better Alabama teams that we had seen in recent memory. So it's becoming a little bit more common for dudes to play for 2 different schools, like Chase Bryce transferred from Clemson to Duke so that he could, be a starting quarterback somewhere. But I don't know where Tate Martell might go, because it ain't like Tate Martell, 1, has a skill set that you can't replace, and 2, he's going to come with some baggage. So
right, he's already proven that he's not a quarterback that is as good as your number 1. Even if he was to stay as a quarterback at Miami, he would be QB2, QB3, maybe even further down the ladder. And with the way that the transfer rules have been used lately, there's just going to be a whole bunch of QB2s that are going to be going someplace else, on top of the fact that there's going to be a backlog of blue chip 4-star, 3-stars coming into the university. So I'm super intrigued to see where he goes, because as we were talking about this later, as we throwing some text back and forth, I wanted to politic for Tate Martell in the sense that he's doing something that people with money do. Like there's nothing at risk for Tate Martell. If the clock runs out on him, he gets to go home and fall on his bed of money, right? He gets to continue to live as well as he ever has. So he's just kind of waiting out all these other people to get a shot to possibly profit off of this. I don't know. He's hoarding time like it's an investment. That wait a second, now it's going to pay off. I don't know if it will. As as I've sat on that point for the day, he like we're going to remember Tate Martell from the dude that just goes from school to school to school, and if it's not until that's probably going to expel him that he becomes untouchable, and then we'll only remember him as. You remember that fun recruiting story with Tate Martell and how he played for 5 different teams?
Well, I mean, as recruiting stories go, right, this is no longer a recruiting story. This is a college football story. Like, Jamar Chase wanted to commit to Florida. Then his dad was like, you look at the depth chart over there? Oh, okay. Wanted to commit to Texas Christian and was this close to doing it when he got circumvented from doing it on television because somebody else's interview ran long and he left the TCU gloves in the box. Momentarily committed to Kansas when David Beatty was running Kansas and ends up at LSU where he wins a Biletnikoff Award, opts out because he's going to be the number one wide receiver, taken in this upcoming 2021 NFL draft. So that's a recruiting story. Zach Evans playing games with everybody from Georgia to Texas A&M to Oklahoma to LSU and eventually ended up at Texas Christian. That's a recruiting story. Tate Martell's just college football now. Like, he signed with Ohio State first. And in this way, Ohio State dodged a bullet and landed a Justin Fields. Like, what? Like, they had a Heisman caliber quarterback in Dwayne Haskins and they go straight to another Heisman caliber quarterback in Justin Fields when they could have been stuck with Tate Martell. Say nothing of Gunnar Hoke was there like last year, and now they get to pick between Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud, two dudes that I think are absolutely going to be great quarterbacks, but one of them's going to be transferring after the end of next year because somebody want to play. I'm here for the Tate Martell rich boy experience, just so I can laugh at it. But yeah, Ohio State, that's your man's. Forever, that's your man's. That's your man's. Y'all sign him. Have fun with that. All right, come back. I want to talk a little bit about SEC West, SEC East. First, I want to do a read because, it's that time of year. The Halloween season is on us. Remember that the folks at Ghouls and Poltergeist Products love this time of year as much as you do because they love to haunt you with exorbitant prices to make you exorcise your wallet and howl in horror at the receipt. And you love Halloween because you get an actual socially acceptable reason to terrify children until they wet their pants in your basement haunted house. This year, make your family happy and horrible with Ghouls and Poltergeist Products. These aren't your run-of-the-mill craft kits and googly eyes and candy corn. These kits of Ghouls and Poltergeist Products make learning to sew fake eyeballs and severed heads into activities the whole family can repulsively enjoy. Give them the gift that terrifies at Ghouls and Poltergeist Products this Halloween. Use the promo code Happy Halloween Haters Trick or Treat Smell My Feet at checkout at Ghouls and Poltergeist Products are horrible.com. At checkout, save an extra 15% if you use the promo code Happy Halloween Haters Trick or Treat Smell My Feet. No refunds, some leet spellings, and random capitalization to the promo code may apply. My thanks to the folks at Ghouls and Poltergeist for partnering with the RJ Young Show. Ron, I put you on to the SEC West. What'd you find?
I found pretty much what we already know is that actually what we discussed a long time ago is that we were very excited about the SEC West, right? It was a conference that was going to be pure chaos with personalities and coaching styles. That this could be a real high flying electric year. That was before the current pandemic crisis that we have now. It was before LSU lost every one of its draft picks. It was before a lot of things. Before times. I would say that I'm looking at all the Vegas lines right now, and they're pretty much exactly how we lined up, how we thought it was going to be. So basically, the teams that we thought were going to be great, I say great, going to be interesting are still going to be interesting, right? Ole Miss is probably going to be interesting watch. I hope that Auburn can be a team that is boomy as more than busty. LSU, I don't know if they're going to be good. Like we talked about, they might go 500 in the conference, right? And they might. I'm looking at the SEC West, and it's pretty much Alabama. Alabama has the talent, and I have utter faith that Nick Saban's going to introduce or like going to continue to be keep it simple, stupid. They got the talent. They don't need to take any chances, and everybody in this conference is pretty much new and working with a limited offseason schedule. So I'm excited to see what it looks like, though.
Peg LSU's record. What's LSU's record going to be?
500.
5-5.
5-5.
5-5. Catch 5 losses. I've been saying LSU going to catch 5 losses for 8 months. Now you're hearing not just me say it. They're not going to be very good, guys. It's not a recipe for success down there. I can't even say success because it's LSU in 2020. It can't happen.
Right. I mean, be clear. Like, this is not life and death. I'm absolutely going to be able. I'm not the biggest LSU fan. I don't think either of us are, but I'm more than willing to give them a, yo, dog, it's just not your year. I saw what happened to you. Like, if you had a homeboy who said, I'm going to be at the thing tomorrow, but what happened today was you saw him getting stomped out and lose some teeth, he'd say, I would understand if you don't make it. It's okay.
So they open against Mississippi State, and they're going to get invited to air raid hell, which ought to be fun because KJ Costello is a big, strong white quarterback that's just going to be back there chucking. And Kylan Hill might be the best tailback in the conference, so I'm excited to see what that looks like against a Bo Pelini defense. All right, let's keep going through the SEC West right quick because, you touched on Alabama and how he's going to go with the KISS principle down there, but what Alabama basically figured out in the Johnny Manziel era is, you need a quarterback that can do what he can do, which means you probably got to run an offense that looks like the offense that they run. So he brought in Lane Kiffin. They went spread. They put in a bunch of passing concepts, and they got away from murder ball. Now with Mac Jones at quarterback, it feels like they got not a Greg McElroy, but certainly an A.J. McCarron, right? Because you got Najee Harris in the backfield. You got Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle at wideout. And you got one of the best offensive lines in football. So maybe you still want to run it a bunch out of those, but you still also want to distribute the football to, these Bama wide receivers. Because I keep having to remind myself that Julio Jones and Jerry Jeudy both went to Alabama. Henry Ruggs and Calvin Ridley both went to Alabama. I can't imagine that even Nick Saban would look at those dudes at wideout and say, we're not going to throw the ball. That said, they're my pick to win the national championship because I think they have the most continuity. They return the most stars, and they have a just beautiful SEC schedule. So they get Eli Drinkwitz in the opener in Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz, welcome to the SEC. You get Alabama. What do you put Alabama's record at?
I have to say that they're probably going to go undefeated. Like, if I have my money, undefeated. If I'm looking at who they lose one to, man, I don't know. Like, who we got? I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Auburn. Auburn is the only one that I'm inclined to say has a shot, and that's because they were real boomy last year.
That's what I say. I need to see Auburn week 1 first. As much talent as they have, I need to see Auburn week 1 first.
No, because last year we saw Auburn week 1, and Bo Nix waited until 13 seconds was left on the clock to pull out a win against an Oregon team that won the Rose Bowl and the Pac-12. And we didn't think they were very good then, and they just kept being good. Like, they played LSU the closest that anybody played LSU all of last year. Now they lose 2 dudes in the middle, and they're going to have a hard time replacing those dudes. Like Derek Brown's a first-round draft pick, but Owen Papo is back, and Kevin Steele's still calling defense. You also add Chad Morris to the offense, and Bo Nix is going into year 2. And Seth Williams ought to be good, right? They also got one of the fastest dudes in college football at wideout as well. So, I'm inclined to believe that Auburn challenges in the SEC West. But, again, I'll ask you, what's Auburn's record going to be?
Mm, not gonna lie, I'm taking this on a week by week basis. The only one that I'm truly sure on was Alabama and LSU. When it comes to everybody else, I got to see it in action because I don't have I have no so much less faith in the rest of the conference. Not say the reference conference, but the SEC West than I do for Alabama. So everybody else, I got to see it week to week because right now you say Auburn. Auburn's looking at a close game against Kentucky, and
I mean, Florida played a close game against Kentucky. Like, I hate how people talk about Kentucky like they're bad. Kentucky,
no, it's not that
Kentucky damn near
I don't
beat
think
Georgia.
Kentucky's bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kentucky's good.
I don't know. I won't say that Kentucky's good. That's kind of where I'm at.
Anytime you can take your starting wide receiver and put him at Wildcat quarterback and damn near beat Georgia, yeah, you're good.
You got me. I got no argument against that.
You're good.
You're right.
Mark Stoops did that with duct tape and a defense. Like, what? He beat Tech in the Belk Bowl with a Wildcat quarterback. Get the hell out of here. You know, like, want to talk about a quarterback away and then get Terry Wilson back. Shout out Dell City. All right, continuing this trend. I will give you all the money in my wallet if you can name 5 starters for Texas A&M right now.
Oh, then congratulations. You get to keep all your money.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? Because, like, they had a bunch of dudes opt out of playing football. Most of them are starters. They get Kellen Mond back, but the thing about Kellen Mond is, who is Kellen Mond? Kellen Mond can't even tell you who Kellen Mond is. Kellen Mond could be looking at his social security number and be like, who's this? The man is the subject of an identity crisis. He is the subject of identity theft. And he still has his name. So, like, I don't know what they expect here. Now, the dude that they got on third string, at least in the release depth chart, in Haynes King, he could be the truth. But he's not going to play this year. I would want him to play this year because everybody gets to burn a year. So bring him back. Meanwhile, get to my favorite topic of conversation in the SEC West. Arkansas. All right, Ron. I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about Arkansas, and I'm going to start with this. Is Arkansas going to win a single game in 2020?
I say they got a shot against Missouri. So you wait until that last week. I'm sorry, that second to last week. You wait for it. Because that's your one. I'm also not very high on Tennessee. That's
getting in the East.
That's my I know, but that's my history. I know that in the East.
Oh, okay.
But if you're talking about whether they go to the schedule for the winner.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe Tennessee, but nah, man, this is a squad that's on the downside. Like your man Pittman, right? We're excited for what he could bring. It's just this ain't the year.
Well,
right, we were excited what he would bring when everybody was healthy. I don't know what he can do right now. I would say that there's a lot of chaos that could happen, but it's not at the top. It's all in the middle, and Arkansas is at the bottom. Well, not the bottom because he could probably beat Mizzou.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Nah, Mizzou would have been bowl eligible last year. They had a bowl ban for a stupid reason. Like, Mizzou was decent, and then they fired their head coach. And then their head coach became Arkansas's defensive coordinator.
I'd say if they get 2 wins this season, it's going to be a rousing success.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Like, it is the toughest schedule on the face of the planet. Look, you got Felipe Franks, who probably beats Kentucky last year if he doesn't dislocate his ankle, which is the thing that happened. You get Kendall Briles, who is the only member of the Briles family that, we still kind of talk about in a halfway decent manner. And also the only person that was a part of that Briles system at Baylor that seems how to run the damn offense. Looking at you, Philip Montgomery. You also get, as I said, Barry Odom to coach the defense. And you got Hot Sauce Davis out there coaching offensive line. And then you got Mr. Yezer as your head coach. And I love me some Sam Pittman. I like Arkansas too. I just like Arkansas in 2022. Not in 2020. That said, I think Arkansas should be ranked. I think Arkansas. No. Hear me out on this.
I'm not against it.
Arkansas should be ranked based entirely on their schedule. No, Arkansas is a permanent top 25 team this year because who the hell gave them the schedule. So, like, my favorite part of the scheduling conflict in the SEC, you know, right now we're talking Big Ten about how Minnesota and Wisconsin got the best schedules outside of Ohio State because they don't have Ohio State on their schedule, right? And we're talking about how Nebraska did dirty because Nebraska talks too much. In the SEC coaches call, apparently somebody got real loud about scheduling going, what algorithm did you use to come up with these schedules? Because we're looking at Arkansas' schedule. And my God, you open against Georgia. You got Florida on the schedule. You got LSU on the schedule. You got Alabama on the schedule. Like, where's the win? No, they ain't got no wins. They only got L's. It's all about how many points. Are we gonna see a running clock in the second half? Nah.
Oh no.
Schedule. Look. I love the kids they got. Like Trey Knox, Trey Burke. They're gonna be good. I'm mad that Raheem Boyd only gets this 1 year with Kendall Briles because I think he could thrive in this system. KJ Jefferson and Malik Hornsby behind Felipe Franks are also going to be good. Again, they're just too young. They also got one of the great all-time names at linebacker. My man's name is Bumper Poole. Bumper Poole.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Next to Levi Draper. And they got a bunch of my kids playing on the defense over there, and like Miles Slusher's probably going to start next to Jalen Catalon. I'm excited to see what Arkansas actually does. I'm just not expecting Arkansas to win a damn thing. All right, to the SEC East we go. It's Georgia's division in a year in which there's a lot of people that are picking Florida. But Florida can't seem to beat Georgia. And it's so one-sided that it's called Florida-Georgia line, not Georgia-Florida line. No, nothing. You rolling your eyes.
No, I'm dying. I'm dying over here.
That is a peak white dad joke. I don't understand why this is not just having you rolling.
Nobody laughs at dad jokes. The like you've taken 5 years off the back end of my life. You like that joke was as bad as 20 years of smoking. So congratulations.
Okay, who are you picking to win the SEC East?
I'm picking Georgia. This is just all coming from the gut. I don't have a lot of faith in Mullen down in Florida. I would love to see Trask be better, but Georgia has the talent. I haven't seen the type of exodus from other top tier programs from Georgia. And like you say, Florida ain't beat Georgia yet.
What Florida has that Georgia doesn't is an offensive identity. They know who they're going to be. They're going to be basket all on grass and throw the ball to Kyle Pitts on third down. They also know who the quarterback is. Georgia don't even know who the quarterback is. They got Dwan Mathis and JT Daniels out there vying for a job. Dwan Mathis had brain surgery last year. JT Daniels blew out his ACL last year. You got a new offense coordinator in Todd Munkett. Now, you returned 5 tailbacks that I really love. Or I should say you returned 4, you add a 5th. You got James Cook, you got Zamir White, you got Kenny McIntosh, you got Kendall Milton. That's before we get to Dejan Edwards, okay? You're also going to ask a lot out of like Demetrius Robertson and whatnot to help you in the passing game because George Pickens can't do it his damn self. But you lost 3 starters on the offensive line. And you're asking Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann to, or not Glenn Schumann, the linebackers coach, Dan Lanning is the defense coordinator, to continue to pitch shutouts while y'all figure out who y'all are going to be. By the time they get to Florida, perhaps they have that figured out, and this is a wash. I'm picking Georgia based entirely on defense wins championships, but not knowing who my quarterback is and what the offensive identity is gives me a little bit of concern. So, like, the game that I'm going to be watching this weekend is definitely going to be Georgia-Arkansas. But I'm going to have my eye on Florida because, again, they ought to be good. But how much better? Because, like, going from 10 wins to 11 wins, that's real hard in the SEC East when you got to play a number 4 team in the country every single year. All right. So, from there, stack these up. Tennessee, Kentucky, Mizzou. How they going to end? I mean, we can throw Vanderbilt in there if that's what you really want to do. I don't really consider Vanderbilt a part of the SEC, even if they do.
Hey man, like every conference needs somebody that bolsters the graduation rate. So Vandy's out there doing a very vital job
No, we
for
didn't.
the conference.
You talked about Ole Miss. We didn't skip Ole Miss.
We might have said the word Lane Kiffin twice.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's going to be Matt Corral or it's going to be John Rice Plumlee.
Let's okay. So just to bring back, so you brought up Ole Miss and the SEC West. I just want to say that the biggest thing that we were excited about was the SEC West and how it was going to go. I just want to touch on it before we dipped.
Please.
And that the biggest issue that we had going forward with the SEC West is that there's a chance that it could only last 1 year, that this could be the only time it was going to be this interesting ever. And I hope that whoever's pulling the purse strings, or I hope everybody from administrators to the fans gives everybody a chance here, assuming that you aren't actually paying them, because this could be real fun. I just don't think it's going to be real fun this year. It's simply going to be interesting at best. I'm sorry. So if I was gonna slot them, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mizzou.
Oh man, it's tough for me with Mizzou and Tennessee because that offensive line for Tennessee is really, really good. It's really, really talented. But in the age of COVID, I don't know, dog. Like, I know Mizzou's not going to be their full assortment of dudes. Tennessee's not going to be their full assortment of dudes. Like, the rolling COVID is going to be one hell of an equalizer. So, like, we're talking about Arkansas having the toughest schedule on the face of the earth in the history of college football. What if Alabama loses, like, 17 dudes and, like, 11 of them are starters? You would like to think...
I think about that every day.
You would like to think that perhaps an Arkansas team would be able to compete, especially if they're at full strength and they know who they are. But if you're looking at Alabama's recruiting and you look at Arkansas's recruiting, ain't no way. So, like, these are the things that I want to see. I want to see that stuff plot out. So I'm inclined to say that Eli Drinkwitz at Mizzou is going to get some things figured out because he won some recruiting battles he had no business winning this year, which is always a good start. But it's also Mizzou, and you fit in the SEC like West Virginia fits in the Big 12, like Nebraska fits in the Big 10. I'm going to go with Kentucky to finish third in there and probably go 6-4, right? And that's if you count the loss against Auburn. But if they beat Auburn, they're probably going to be back in the top 25 anyway because there are only 90 teams that are going to be eligible for votes next week. But it's an interesting dynamic. I think that it's going to be fun to find out which two teams from the SEC they put in the college football playoff.
That's why I'm really intrigued to see it go week to week, because right now, you talk about Tennessee could be very good, but looking what it looks like coming out of the casinos, it looks like, Will Muschamp can beat them in week 1. And if that happens, and if that happens, and we're what, 6 days away from Saturday, right? So let's assume that nobody catches any COVID cases and there's no like real big roster upturn. If that happens, and then the rest of the season happens, and none of these kids are in a NBA style bubble, right? A whole bunch of people are having in-class classes. Even if you have your football team isolated and doing that remotely, they got the patience of, I'm not going to say all of them, but you can expect to have a few Lou Wills and Daniel Wells and all of that and knock out the right side of your offensive line, knock out your secondary, knock out your quarterback.
I'm very proud of you. 38 minutes in before we get to a basketball analogy.
I'm sorry. That's just...
You're not Gus Johnson, who waits 2 minutes to get to a basketball analogy in Arkansas State, Kansas State game.
Oh, like my skin has been itching this entire time. I know that they're here for the football, but as it pertains to higher ed practices, all these schools are going to lose some kids, not for the entire year, but at least for a good 10-day streak. Well, and if that happens, actually not if that happens, when that happens.
And that's also one of the things about this that could be fun and won't be, honestly, as much fun as people think it's going to be. I'm going to have fun, but that's because I know what it is. Like, I'm the dude just going, yeah, man, if they call it off in the middle of the season, I would be shocked. I'm going to be here to talk about it, but I wouldn't be shocked. All right. I need to add in there that South Carolina did jack Georgia for the hedges in a game where both teams were full strength and in a year where South Carolina lost more games than they won. So, like, South Carolina is entirely capable of just picking up a rock and hitting you from 60 feet away, and that's the knockout. Like, that's the game. Like, you might have a gun, and they just get lucky with that one and be like, can't shoot if you're unconscious. Like, that's how South Carolina's going to have to roll this year like they did last year.
But we know that they're not going to be that lucky for a solid 10 games straight.
No, but I'm just talking about
and we know that South Carolina is. We know that South Carolina is bad in their conference. Like, they've been classically bad for 2 years playing against the teams that they play every year. I don't see there's going to be much difference other than the fact that now Will Muschamp is going to be shown, scoreboard dog. You need to get some wins against teams that have SEC in front of them. I'm not sure if he's going to do it.
Like Georgia?
But he probably could.
Like Georgia?
That's y'all one.
I'm saying, though, like, that would be my...
Rocky Marciano.
Look.
That's y'all one.
If I'm Matt Campbell, anytime somebody wants to talk noise to me about Louisiana Lafayette and losing, I'll be like, 2017, Oklahoma, what's good? Every single time. We beat a team that played in the college football playoff. Every single time I would bring it up. I would wear it like dudes wear their national title ring. It would just be there the whole time. Being like, see, I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you. Yo, man, the 2010-11 Lakers championship is the worst NBA title of all time. Do you have a title, Charles Barkley? That's what I thought. Like, permanent trump card forever. Amen. All right, so there are only like 2 games that I really want to talk about from the Big 12 because everybody else has embarrassed me.
Oh, yeah. So as you asked me, I'm going to throw it back to you. Is the Big 12 dead? Are they dead? Is this it's just not a year?
Yo, man, I told everybody to break up the Big 12 and advocate the throne on national radio on Saturday night. I'm not here for this conference. Matter of fact, I had this thought. Like, how many members in a conference is enough? 10, 14, 20? Even knowing that there are 129 teams and we respect like 5 conferences, and the Big 12 can learn a thing or two from those 5 conferences that we respect. Because this conference isn't a conference. It's Oklahoma and Texas.
My goodness, is it?
It's Texas, though, because they make the most money. It's Oklahoma because they win the most games. And then when we talk about Oklahoma State being number 11, and this is how watered down college football is this year, they slide to 15 with a 16-7 win against the Tulsa team. I would not trust to beat meat, as in a steak, with a tenderizer. So, yes, the Big 12 is dead. And the Big 12 remains dead until the Big 12 wins a college football playoff semifinal. And seeing as Oklahoma's the only one that can make that qualification, Oklahoma needs to be independent or go to the SEC. That's what I would do.
I was going to say, if you consider the Big 12 to be, if you also are just, you refuse to not include Oklahoma into the Big 12, like, absolutely, they're Big 12. All right, sure, cool. They run the table because the bottom half of this conference is really bad. I have no faith in Texas. I have them beating the rest of the conference. Iowa State made me look like a fool because I said on record, Iowa State, they gonna be pretty good. They're built to beat Oklahoma. They still might be, but they're not built to beat anybody else. So Oklahoma runs the table, makes it to the Big 12 championship, shows up in first round playoffs, gets bounced. Great.
Rinse, repeat. Nah, man. So, like, Texas gets Texas Tech. That's going to be the Sam Ehlinger experience with Mike Yurcich calling the plays. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be the Chris Ash experience with him calling the plays. Get to see Joseph Asai at a more natural rush linebacker position. I'm going to be interested in that. Oklahoma favored by 28 against Kansas State in a revenge game. Fine. I'll watch it at 11, provided we got enough players because, like, Chris Kleiman and Lincoln Riley both cop to, look, we got some kids back. We just lost some kids. That's just been what it is. Like, Chris Kleiman said, we got 10 back today. We lost 12. today. And, you know, like, this part is interesting because Arkansas State had to call off last week's game because they had too many kids that tested positive or going through contact tracing. Remember, they played Kansas State. And remember, the Memphis kids said they got it from the Arkansas State kids. So I'm not even sure that I want this game to get played. Because, like, one of the things that we're going to talk about at the end of this is how many games did you play? So if you're 6-0, do you deserve to be in the college football playoff? Do you get to claim a national championship?
Some people will say that's the beauty of college football because it's not really about the stats. It's a beauty pageant. It's about the debate. So that's what really makes college football real good, right? So who knows if would you choose a 2-loss Ohio State squad over the Chanticleers who ran the table?
No.
Great debate.
No.
I'm glad somebody brought it up.
No.
So somebody's 6-0. We put them in the playoffs?
Yeah. They're undefeated and there are 3 undefeated teams left. Yeah. I'm here for Army, BYU, whatever it might be. Coastal Carolina, Georgia State, Appalachian State. Well, Appalachian State can't get there anymore. They lost to Marshall. Marshall! Holy smokes. All right. I gave some of my time to that game, and ugh. All right. I'm going to do a read, and then you got this thing about Kobe Covington and LeBron James that you want to try out. So let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Always wanted to get your MBA? What's the holdup? If it's tuition fees, let me tell you, the folks at the Get Money Management Institute have a deal for you. At the Get Money Management Institute, they've just slashed their entrance fee, their late fee, their slushy fee, and your fee by 50%. That's right. It's now officially affordable to get your MBA at the Get Money Management Institute. Secure your space in their MBA program today at the Get Money Management Institute. It takes just one phone call to get this online degree that's not worth the effort to blow your nose with it. Mention RJ and receive an additional 20% off at the online campus ebook store. Secure your future with a GMMI MBA, or as they call it, a Master Badass Diploma today. Some restrictions may apply. Absolutely, positively, no refunds. Ron, what do you want to tell me about LeBron James and Kobe Covington?
It's me being an old head. So over the weekend, Kobe won a fight, and after the fight, he uses his time to stump for the president and call out woke athletes who are also cowards, and name checks LeBron James in this exchange. And as a bit of kayfabe, I understand that it's the act, but let me tell you that I surely do miss the times where the trash talk that we threw at other people pretty much began and ended with being ugly. And I realize this is the old head argument of back in my day, we used to handle this with fist, and but now fist rhetorically is the metaphor for like, I don't understand why you had to throw people's patriotism under the bus. I thought sports was supposed to be fun. It's not. I'm not going to say keep politics out of sports. I'd say that if you are of that stripe, keep politics out of sports. To me, it's frustrating to hear something like this, because now everybody is now forced to engage with it on a level that is now bigger than athletics, which congratulations, Colby. I guess that was the point. The one thing that I wanted to throw out there is that if somebody like LeBron James has done nothing, then all of us have done nothing. I don't mean to be so soft-spoken like this is my pulpit. This just hit me like in a real weird place. Like, man, this dude started school. Think about this for yourself, RJ. You started a scholarship fund. You've written a book. You use your platform to advance the positions that you hold. If somebody told you that you did nothing, then I guess you got to get your Munich on and eliminate your political enemies, because that's the only thing that's left. You tell people to vote. You do vote. You vote with your dollars and your time and your money. So I don't know what nothing is anymore. That's it. Thank you for your time.
No, man, I just hit the block button. Like, I no longer entertain these arguments. Like, I'm in the comments just to dunk on people. Like, it used to be cool to have this conversation with a smaller audience, with a smaller group of people, with a smaller community, because you might get some nuance. But nah, I mean, now the world exists for tweets and Instagram graphics and pot shots on your favorite sports talk show, which probably has a political leaning that you like. Kobe Covington is a mark.
Isn't he?
I mean, I don't particularly care to entertain him. I don't particularly care to entertain anybody that would have such a take.
I was gonna say, thank you for letting me bring this to your table, because I know that he's a store brand Conor McGregor, who's on his way to being a canceled Conor McGregor. But yeah, man, this just hit me in a weird way. This is what happens whenever you doom scroll Twitter. And maybe I should do something else, like go outside and I don't know, go to a campsite and go doom scroll out there.
Nah, man, there's no place to go. Like television shows, nah. You either have to engage with it and force yourself to say nothing and drop articles from 1914 into the group chat, or just go out and fight, because there's no in between anymore. Like, you either have a baseball bat in your hands or you just let everybody do what they're going to do. Yo, man, hey, don't be in the comments just dropping your damn emojis. That's going to get you put in timeout. I hate this.
All right.
Have something to say. Who the hell? Damn. I hate that. What are you, 17?
Here's the thing.
7?
Like, I'm over here thinking that the people on your channel are all actually pretty smart. And all the hard facts that they want are out there. They can get them. They probably have them in their hand as they're listening to this, as they're watching this. So this is just a big opportunity to hear your voice and to hang out. If you wanted to know stuff, pick up a book. If you want to hang out, hang out.
All your hate mail should be sent to @RonofAllTrades on Twitter, who is telling you exactly how you live your life.
At me.
Yeah, out yourself. Out yourself so you can get blocked. Like, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Come out here with your points in the comments or in the replies so that make it easier for us to never hear from you ever again.
I was about to say, make yourself known. I'm not gonna. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna tell you to meet me by the flagpole. I'm a grown man. It's 2020. Make yourself known so that we can never talk again.
My God. All right. I think that's going to do it. Ron, I appreciate you, man. This is fun. We will do it again next week. Subscribe to the RJ Young Show podcast. Rate us, review us, leave 5 stars. You leave a 5-star comment, I will read it on the show. To that end, I probably need to do that, don't I, Ron? I need to do that. See if there were nice things that people said in the reviews. I doubt it. Ah, what? What do you know? Okay, this dude got a Gundy question. Goes by HorseMeat918. Solid. Would Tennessee be a title contender if Gundy had taken that head coaching job? Absolutely not, dog. Like, no. Mike Gundy would have get ran out faster than Greg Schiano. And Greg Schiano didn't even get that job. Mike Gundy would have found out how the SEC actually operates and find out that his OAN ain't going to save him. That just stands for owned by Georgia and Alabama. Matter of fact, Tennessee ain't beat Alabama since the invention of the iPhone. No, he'd have been trash. Let me see. We got Artie King said, despite that you're still great at breaking down college football. It says no Mizzou State. I don't know what that means, though, dog. I appreciate the 5 stars. I don't know what that means. Yeah, man, those are only 2 reviews that we got. We're up to 264. It'd be really cool to be up to 270 by Wednesday when we do the live show again. Ron, Tell the people one more time who's going to win the SEC.
Alabama.
Who's going to win the Big 12?
Oklahoma.
I was going to say I root for carnage. I root for carnage.
Oh, hey, here's the thing. If you're asking me where I'm putting my money, like this is the Robin Hood app of where I'm telling you to put your cash. If you want to live dangerously, pick Florida. Want to live super dangerously, pick Texas. Actually, I take it back. Pick Iowa State.
2020 college football playoff national champion Army Black Knights. Deuces.